Okay, we're live now. All right. The crickets are, and no, actually, it's the frogs are kind of quiet tonight. I'm going to be over at SpaceX in a minute to monitor when they go live, so I can put the URL into the live stream. I'm going to bop over there now. I should play a rerun of the Falcon Heavy. Why don't I do that? I think I've got about 10 minutes before they go live. So let me go ahead and play that. Or maybe not. They have uh, they have 10 minutes before they go live. So, and the video is 11 minutes long, so I'm gonna forego that for right now. I'll play that at the end of the launch. I could play that Gordon Lightfoot. I think I will. Let's go ahead and play that. That's only 4 minutes long.
I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you beg stairs. She's been looking like a queen in a sailor's dream, and she don't always say what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. I can picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in her loving is your first mistake. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again. I can see her looking fast in her faded jeans. She's a hard-loving woman, got me feeling mean. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sometimes I think it's a sin when I feel like I'm winning when I'm losing again.
Nice launch trajectory and countdown net. Pad is clear.
10, 9, 8.
Launch auto sequence has started.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go for launch.
Vehicle is supersonic. Stage separation confirmed. Dragon, separation confirmed. Stage 1 is transonic. Landing legs have deployed. And Falcon 9 has landed.
Hello everyone, my name is Krista Rhodes. I am a structures engineer here at SpaceX. I'll be your host for today's Starlink mission, which marks SpaceX's 29th launch of the year and 228th overall mission to date. On your screen is a live view of our Falcon 9 rocket on Space Launch
Express
Complex
full
40
color
in
reject.
Florida, awaiting liftoff at 3:31 a.m. Eastern Time. At T-minus 4 minutes and 44 seconds, the range is green and ready to support, and weather is looking good. The teams are currently tracking no issues with the vehicle or spacecraft. And we should be seeing the strong back clamp arms opening up shortly, in about 15 seconds from now.
Starboard retract has started.
And as you can see on your screen, the clamp arms are now beginning to open up beneath the second stage. After they open up fully, you'll see the strong back start moving away from the vehicle in preparation for takeoff. And the strong back, also referred to as the TE or transporter erector, is the large structure that you see next to Falcon 9. We use it to raise it to its vertical launch position and route power, umbilicals, and telemetry to the vehicle and payload before they're ready to go on their own internal power. And coming up next at T-minus 3 minutes, we should hear that stage 1 has completed liquid oxygen loading. We can expect stage 1 liquid oxygen loading to conclude in about 5
Stage 1
seconds.
last load complete.
At T-minus 3 minutes, Falcon 9's first stage is now fully loaded with RP1 and liquid oxygen, and we're now awaiting completion of LOX loading on the second stage in about 50 seconds. And the white clouds that you see circling around the vehicle are completely nominal, and they're the result of our super chilled liquid oxygen coming into contact with relatively warm ambient air at the launch site, turning the liquid oxygen back to its gaseous state. And again, we're currently waiting for stage 2 LOX load completion, which should conclude at T-minus 2 minutes.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
And with that call out, Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with 1 million pounds of fuel and liquid oxygen. The booster, or first stage of the rocket you see on your screen, is flying for its 7th time today, having previously supported CRS-24, Eutelsat HOTBIRD 13F, OneWeb 1, SES-18 and 19, and 2 Starlink missions. After liftoff and stage separation, this booster will land on our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas.
Here's the 330.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And as you just heard the call out, Falcon 9 is now in startup, meaning that the flight computers have now taken over the launch countdown. In just a few seconds, we should hear our launch director, or LD, give the final go for launch.
LD, go for launch.
And the launch director has given the final go to proceed for launch. Let's sit back and watch as Falcon 9 takes our 56 Starlink satellites into space.
The 330 train.
T-minus 30 seconds. Seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Starlink 5-6. Go Starlink, go Falcon. Vehicles pitching downrange.
At T plus 30 seconds, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral, Florida at 3:31 a.m. Pacific Eastern Time. The next major milestone coming up is max Q, which is when the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of external stresses
telemetry
as
nominal.
it descends through the Earth's atmosphere during its flight today.
What DT and pressures are nominal? Falcon 9 to supersonic.
Falcon 9 is now supersonic, meaning it is traveling faster than the speed of sound. And coming up next, we will be hearing the call out for max Q.
Max Q.
And there was the call out for max Q, which again is when the vehicle experiences its largest amount of external stresses. And we are about 1 minute away from a series of events, being MECO, stage separation, SES-1, and then fairing separation. MECO stands for main engine cutoff, which is when all 9 Merlin engines will shut down in preparation for stage separation. And during stage separation, the first and second stages will separate from each other. The first stage will begin its journey back to Earth, while the second stage will light its Merlin vacuum engine to propel our Starlink satellites to their planned orbits. Let's keep an eye out for these events happening in pretty quick succession. And you can expect those to start in about 20 seconds.
We'll see if we capture the
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
There it is right there.
And back ignition.
And as you just saw and heard over the nets, we had successful MECO, stage sep, and SES-1. We're now coming up on fairing separation from the second stage, just a few seconds.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Fairing separation has been confirmed. We will be attempting to recover both fairing halves using our recovery vessel, Bob. Both of the fairing halves that supported today's mission are flight proven, with one half flying for its 8th time and the other half flying for its 9th time. Both the first and second stages are following nominal trajectories. And currently, the first stage is on its way back to Earth towards our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas. And our MVAC engine, as you can see on your screen, is attached to our second stage and continuing its burn, which will last around another 4 minutes. And although we don't have views of the first stage right now, the vehicle is still healthy and successfully making its way back to our landing site.
Well, we can still see it at least. It's fading and fading. I don't know if I'm going to be able to...
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
And as a reminder, Starlink is a satellite internet constellation designed and manufactured by SpaceX to provide high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations all around the globe.
We still got it. I can't see it naked eye.
As an update for our first stage, it is still performing nominally and still making its way back to our landing site. And a successful return of this
Both
booster.
vehicles on a nominal trajectory.
A successful return of this booster again will mark SpaceX's 189th landing to date. And as I mentioned earlier, today's Starlink mission marks SpaceX's 228th mission overall and the 29th mission just this year. And coming up next in this mission is entry burn on the first stage, which is the first of 2 burns it will go through in preparation for landing. And we can expect that entry burn to begin at T+6 minutes.
Whoops.
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's the call out for stage 1 entry burn. And stage 1, which we also call the booster, has ignited engines numbers 1, 5, and 9 to slow it down for atmospheric re-entry. And now we finally have first stage views, and it's currently making its way back to our landing site.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
Stage 2 FTS has safed.
And you just heard the call out, the entry burn on the first stage has completed. And coming up next is our landing burn on the first stage, which will be the second and final burn in preparation for landing. And stage 1 has one more burn left to land on our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas. Meanwhile, our second stage is still continuing its first burn and performing nominally.
Both vehicles on a nominal trajectory.
We can expect our landing burn to begin around T+8 minutes.
Stage 1 transonic.
And once that burn begins, it's going to last around 20 seconds.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And there's confirmation that the stage 1 landing burn has started in preparation for touchdown on our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas. We can now see our drone
Stage
ship.
1 landing light deploy. Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
And this Falcon 9 first stage has now successfully launched and landed for the
Stage 2 terminal
7th
guidance.
time. We are now coming up on second engine cutoff.
Expected loss of signal cable. And back shutdown.
And there you heard the call out we were waiting for, SECO 1, and
Nominal orbit insertion.
we now have been able to confirm both SECO 1 and nominal orbital insertion, and confirmation of a good orbit for our 56 Starlink satellites. Today's landing marks our 189th overall landing of an orbital class rocket, including Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy missions. With confirmation of successful first stage landing and second engine cutoff, that will wrap up our coverage for today. Be sure to check our social media for confirmation of Starlink deployment, and thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye. That was a good launch. I'm going to do a replay of the Falcon 9 here. Let's see.
Viasat, go Falcon Heavy. Vehicle is pitching downrange. M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
We are 30 seconds into flight under the power of 5 million pounds of thrust. Falcon Heavy is headed to space. Now we are throttling down our engines on those side boosters, and that's in preparation for Max Q.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Max Q is the moment of peak mechanical stress.
Falcon Heavy is supersonic.
Peak mechanical stress on the vehicle, so we do slow down the
This
vehicle
is
to
for
get
those
through
who
this
didn't see
period of
the
high stress.
Falcon Heavy
And once
launch.
we pass through Max Q,
This
we will
right here
throttle
is from
those
the
engines
Apple
back up
Watch.
on those side boosters.
Max Q.
And great call out, we have passed through Max Q. So we're going to throttle up those engines.
And there's the watch. And now,
Falcon Heavy is in startup.
There we go. Falcon Heavy has just entered the startup phase.
Go for launch.
And with confirmation of go for launch from our launch director, Falcon Heavy is ready to go to space at T-minus 37 seconds with the Viasat 3 mission.
well, I'm hoping I caught it on the Apple Watch.
Seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff of Viasat 3. Go Viasat, go Falcon Heavy. Vehicle is pitching downrange. M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
We are 30 seconds into flight under the power of 5 million pounds of thrust. Falcon Heavy is headed to space. Now we are throttling down our engines on those side boosters, and that's in preparation for Max Q.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Max Q is the moment of peak mechanical stress.
Falcon Heavy is supersonic.
Peak mechanical stress on. And some incredible views of Falcon Heavy in flight. Now 2 minutes into flight, we will reduce the thrust on the two side boosters again, and that will be to decrease the forces on the vehicle structure. And that's because the vehicle is now lighter as we're burning through the fuel on the vehicle, but the thrust will remain constant. And wow, that looks amazing on the screen. All three boosters burning bright there.
Falcon Heavy is following a nominal trajectory.
And then the next event coming up in about a minute or just under a minute will be BECO. That's booster engine cutoff. That's where we will shut down the engines on the side boosters, and then we will separate the side boosters from the center core. And as a reminder, we are not landing our side boosters or center core today due to performance needed on today's mission. And you can see on your right-hand screen, we do have a view of the separation mechanisms from the center core to the side boosters. And BECO, or booster engine
This is
cutoff,
from
is
an
coming up
iPhone,
here
just
in
to
a
let
few
y'all know.
seconds.
MVAC engine chill has started. Booster engine cutoff.
Side booster separation confirmed. Both side boosters FTS has safed.
great views there. We had BECO, booster engine cutoff, and we watched as those side boosters, and you could see them there on your screen, those side boosters falling
Vehicle is
away,
following a nominal trajectory.
falling away from Falcon Heavy's center core. Awesome views. That's going to wrap it up for the side boosters today. The next event coming up here in about 30 seconds or so is
You
main
just
engine
barely
cutoff.
see it.
That is also called MECO, and that will be on the center core, followed by stage separation and then the
Just
startup
barely
of
see
our
it.
second stage engine.
Main engine cutoff. Stage
Excuse
separation
me.
confirmed. Stage 1 FTS has safed. MVAC ignition. Acquisition signal Bermuda.
And we got some great views. We watched MECO as the engines on the center core shut down, stage separation, and now you can see on your screen that the MVAC engine has ignited. Now we are coming up on fairing separation.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And also we're able to see and hear the call out that,
Stage 2 is following a nominal trajectory.
that the fairing halves have separated. They are now falling back down to Earth, and we will attempt to recover them using our recovery vessel, Doug.
And now we are going to condense 5 hours into just a few minutes. You can see it gaining altitude, and it's slowing down in speed.
See on your screen, we have ignition of our MVAC engine that is called SES-3 or second stage engine start 3. This burn will last just about a minute long.
Let's get ready to rumble!
It's at an altitude of
And then we can begin
34,000
our
kilometers.
deployments of our payloads. Great call outs. We did get confirmation of
34,000 and a
SECO-3,
half.
that's second stage engine cutoff 3, as well as a confirmation of good orbit. So in a few minutes, we have the first of 3 payload deployments scheduled at the T+4 hour and 32-minute mark. So we'll see you back here in about 9 minutes for the deployment of the Viasat 3 mission.
Welcome back to the webcast for the Viasat 3 America's mission. So far in the mission, we had an on-time liftoff. We've had 3 successful burns of our second stage, and we're coming up on the deployment of the Viasat 3 spacecraft. The Viasat payload deploying shortly is now the largest all-electric satellite ever to be launched. And deployment is coming up in just around 40 seconds or so.
Viasat.
Hello again. If you're just joining us, we had an on-time liftoff at 8:26 p.m. Eastern Time from Kennedy Space Center's Launch Complex 39A. We've had 3 successful burns of our second stage and successful deployment of the Viasat 3 payload, and we're now coming up on the deployment of the Gravity Space 1 payload. Gravity Space 1 is a 16U CubeSat and the first commercial CubeSat in geosynchronous orbit. It will be used for Internet of Things, a rendezvous and docking experiment, and orbital slot reservations. And that deployment is coming up here in just about 15 seconds or so.
Pew, pew. Let's go. Pew.
What you're seeing on your screen is a view from the second stage looking forward. So we should be able to see the payload deploy here shortly.
Gravity space separation confirmed.
One. What? There it goes.
Astronus separation confirmed.
Cool.
And there you saw and heard confirmation of successful deployment of the micro-geo payload from our second stage. With confirmation of successful deployment of our last payload on board the second stage, that will wrap up our coverage for the Viasat-3 America's mission. We'd like to thank Viasat for entrusting us with today's mission. We'd also like to thank the Range and the FAA for licensing today's launch. And of course, we'd like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in. If you're interested in more launch content, head over to our website and social media platforms for updates on our next missions and milestones. Hope you all enjoy the week, and we will see you soon.
And we're back live now. I want to thank everybody for joining in. And it was a beautiful launch. We were able to almost get it all the way down to the trees, capture it as it was traveling kind of southeast. We're looking southeast right now. All right. So everybody have a good day. Thanks for getting up early to watch this. And we'll see you very soon. Offhand, I don't know when the next launch is. It's soon, I know that. I'll be making a YouTube live stream event for it later on today. So, for now, we're going to sign off.